What is the crack, everyone? B2B Sports, we are back. Sam is here. Standard procedure.
As always.
As always. We've had a couple of weeks off, birthdays, just couldn't get an ep in, but hey, that's life. And since we've last recorded, Chelsea have turned it around. There's been a bit of a renaissance at Chelsea, should we say. Three wins.
I know. Should we say it?
I'm definitely jinxing this one.
Oh,
100.
100%. 100%.
Three wins on the trot. We're through to the quarterfinals in Champions League in Europe. We beat Dortmund 2-0, and a good win this past weekend. And Kai Havertz is scoring. Enzo's looking good. Graham Potter's looking happy, which I'm pleased with the bloke. Yeah, how you assessing Chelsea's
I
play?
mean, they've needed it. I was quite surprised at the win against Dortmund. Played actually quite well there. Havertz's goal the other day was pretty sick.
That's naughty, wasn't it? That's naughty.
Um, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they've turned it fully around, but it's on the up. I don't think they're going to finish 10th.
No. Well, thanks for that, Sam.
But yeah, I'm just saying.
No, but yeah,
That'd be fun.
I think we're going to turn it around. I think to get top four is a little bit of a stretch. I think we're going to have to probably win. I don't know, 10 out of our last however many games. I think it's got 13 games left, maybe or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, so that's going to be a bit of a stretch, and maybe, just maybe, United might slip. Who knows?
You never know. You never know.
But yeah, I am pleased. I'm pleased.
Casemiro out for 4 games.
Again, let's jump into that. He got suspended for what, the first time round,
Yeah,
came back for the 7-0 drubbing, and then got suspended again.
I know. I feel sorry. I feel bad for him because the first one was a bit iffy. Like they were both laughing and joking about. You can understand why it was a red card, but also but they were having a bit of. But anyway, and then this one, his studs were up, but it also did go over the ball. So he didn't mean it, and I think he like apologized straight away and everything. So, a bit unlucky. I mean, I'm glad we managed to come away with a 0-0. I think we maybe could have had a penalty.
Mm,
I mean,
maybe.
it was probably handball.
Yeah.
Pretty much just like bent down and caught it, and then I don't understand how that isn't a penalty. When you talk about the natural silhouette of a player, like he was in no position to make a natural silhouette or anything like that. So I think that was the most penalty like of any of the penalty shouts. Um, Obviously, Fernandez's one was he just fell over. Rashford's one, he made a meal out of it. He did get tapped, but then he just like flew himself to the ground.
Yeah.
So I understand why that wasn't given. Um, but yeah, a bit lucky to get away with a draw there. But if anything, like it's still looking good. We're playing still playing relatively well. Obviously that 7-0 drubbing, um,
To
which
Liverpool,
is
may I
interesting.
add as well.
By Liverpool at Liverpool, like why? What? And the fact that they lost to Bournemouth this week is like, how did that happen? How did they win 7-0?
Well, it's classic, isn't it? Absolutely
It is.
classic Liverpool this season.
And I'm not gonna lie, it may. I'm glad we didn't record an episode last week and waited till this week because it makes me feel better that they lost 1-0 to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I know we drew 0-0 to Southampton. They're technically last in the table, but we did have a man sent off, so I feel like I can get away with that. But no, I'm happy. I'm content. I think not out of this world happy, but content. I
You
don't think we're
see,
going to be vying for the top places anymore.
so you're not sweating then. You're not sweating that this could be the start of a bad run.
I don't think it's when you start a bad run. I think like we still have potential to lose games, but I don't think we're going to be on a run where we lose loads in a row and then get caught up and don't end up finishing third.
Mm.
I think we'll do enough.
What's your opinion, like honest opinion on Bruno Fernandes? Because he he's been called a bit of a rat on social media and stuff after the
And
the shenanigans at Liverpool, and he's diving and all that kind of thing.
I think he does seem to flail a lot. I do find that annoying with any player. I think he's been played an awful lot He was awful against Liverpool. There's no two ways about it. He gave up. It
He
looked
did
like
give
he
up.
gave up.
Did give up.
Um, I think he needs a rest. I think he played in like 20 odd consecutive games, um, in different positions as well. I think he's a player that needs to stick to his position. He needs to be in that kind of calm midfielder role. Um, he can't be playing on the left or the right. I think he's not cut out for
No.
that.
Okay.
He's not going to chase back those wingers, um, as we saw against Liverpool. So I think if he's played in the right place, I think he's fine. He's a great player, and he's been doing really well for this season. I think he's gone a bit under the radar with how kind of consistent he's been. But yeah, I think Ten Hag needs to play him kind of just in one role. I understand it's difficult. We've got Ericsson out, so he's having to kind of fill in for a couple, and I think Garnacho might be out as well. So
How's old Sabitzer doing? I don't watch much United, but
he's doing all right. I think he's putting a shift in. Um, Quite possibly could have been sent off the other week, so that's good.
another
Would have done a João Felix, got sent off in his
yeah,
first game.
classic.
But I think he's doing a solid job. I think he's doing what he needs to be doing. Nothing spectacular just yet, but he's still finding his feet. Um, yeah, I'm happy with how United are doing. Playing, they don't have a game this week, so
Yeah.
well,
Oh, well, going back to Chelsea as well, like there's a Mason Mount's contract is causing a bit of a stir at the minute. He's not signed a new deal. He's wanting more money that than Chelsea are offering. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Because obviously, like he over the past couple of years, he's been one of Chelsea's standout players. And yeah, I love the bloke Mason Mount. I actually love him. Obviously, he hasn't had the best of years and
you
this
just
and
love his
that.
TikToks.
And doing TikToks, yeah, doing TikTok dances. Probably should be focusing on the football pitch rather than doing that. But yeah, what's your opinion? Do you think that Chelsea should let him go, or do you think they should offer him the money that he wants, or what's your opinion on this whole
Um,
of the deal?
I think Chelsea should re-sign him if they can.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think he's a key player for Chelsea. He's somebody who's been there for a while, which isn't easy. Like it doesn't come often at Chelsea. It's somebody who's there for a while.
No, it's true.
Um, I think that's what they need. They need somebody to kind of be there when all these new players start. I feel like they've given contracts to kind of Mudryk and Enzo, so I feel like they need to respect what he's done. I think and try and get him a new contract because he's still playing well. Because I also feel like there's not many other teams that would take him. I don't know
No,
why. I feel like he's not seen as desirable to other teams.
obviously, I think
Um,
there was Liverpool that are apparently sniffing about, and that would be interested, but
yeah,
yeah, you can't let him go, even if he's not been playing up to his usual standards this year and filming TikToks. Like you have to still, he's showing his talent. And I think you have to sign him. He's like
yeah,
Chelsea.
I think he deserves it.
Yeah,
And he is a decent player. Um, but yeah, again, I feel like it's in his best interest as well because I don't see him getting signed for another team at the price he wants.
no, exactly.
Um, I don't know why. Like I feel like he should be somebody that people want, but he's just not seen as desirable to other teams.
Mason Mount's a weird one, isn't he? Because he's not. You don't look at him and go, okay, he's that position. Like he's going to fill
Yeah,
that position. He's like a bit, floats around. He can do a couple of different roles, but
yeah,
I'd say he's like a really well balanced player. But he doesn't scream, right, you're going to be a cam and you're going to play a 10 out of 10 performance in a cam, or he's kind of like a 7, 8 out of 10 in every position, which makes him
yeah.
probably a little less desirable to teams that are trying to
Mm,
fill certain position, that certain particular position.
yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I hope they keep him. I hope they can solve it and figure something out. But yeah, it's on the fringe of potentially going at the end of the season if you don't sign a new deal. So
Yeah.
I have
I
to
can
see
see him
about that
being
one.
picked up by like Aston Villa.
Villa, nah, he's better than Villa. He's better than
I
Villa.
agree he's better than Villa. I just or Spurs. I see him as he's a classic Spurs player.
Oh God, if he did that, if he went from Chelsea to Spurs, he can get in the bin. What do you make of this whole match of the day fiasco that happened this weekend as well, this past weekend?
It's all a load of bollocks. Like
It's all a load of bollocks.
it honestly is. Like the BBC, their point was ridiculous in the first place. Asking him to like retract his statement or anything. Like what he says on there is quite clearly what he thinks. I know he represents the BBC, but it's Twitter. It's he should be able to say whatever he wants. And what he said was nothing that nobody else was already thinking. It was pretty obvious. Um, I think the fact that the other pundits also did the same things, so solidarity. I think it was good. Um, I do at the end of the day think it was a bit not meaningless, but it would have come to the same result
Mhm.
because Gary Lineker is going to always do that,
Yeah,
whether he was there or not.
100%.
And the BBC were always going to bring him back on. Like it seemed a bit of a whole mute thing. So yeah, I don't really get it. Um, I'm glad that he's back on and he's allowed to say what he wanted to do, but it seemed like we had a whole news story for a weekend for no reason because everyone knew that the result was going to be.
Yeah, everyone knew that he was going to come back. I mean, did you watch it? Did you watch Match of the Day?
No,
I watched about the first half of it. I didn't watch all of it, and it was bizarre. I can't lie. There was
yeah,
no like theme tune. It just went straight into the game.
oh
Obviously, there was
really?
no commentary at all. It was just the highlights, just the crowd
Hmm.
noise or whatever. Yeah, it was bizarre. I can't lie, and I think there's it's like got its highest viewing figures in quite a long time. But and people saying, oh, maybe this is how Match of the Day should go. But that's only because people were tuning in to see how it would go in the first place.
Exactly. And it was like they said, it had like 2.5 million viewers, which was like an uptake of however much. But when Gary Lineker um, presented in his boxes when Leicester won the trophy, there was 4.5 million. So I don't think you can base it on one weekend,
1 week
especially
exactly,
you're basing it on a weekend where there's an anomaly. If it was a normal weekend, you're going to get normal ratings.
100%.
Um, because something random happened, more people are going to watch it. So it's silly to come up there. And to be fair, a lot of the people saying, "Oh, this is a much better way of watching it," like, they probably don't watch it normally anyway.
No, exactly. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Like longevity wise, you know, after that first episode, it would have got incredibly boring without any commentary,
Hmm.
anything, any personality. So yeah, I think it was just a one because it was an anomaly.
Yeah.
That's the reason why the figures were so high. Um,
Mm.
yeah, there's other football going on. I think Man City are playing tonight against Leipzig. I think they're on right
Oh
now.
yeah.
I think that was 1-1 in the first leg, so that'll be interesting to see what happens. I think I saw just before we started recording, I saw that Pep is playing four centre backs in a back four. So
Nice.
classic Pep,
Classic.
just overthinking, just
Well, they don't have a game this weekend, so he should do what he wants.
exactly do it once. Also Arsenal are still flying, by the way. Like
Yeah.
they've got good results, so we can't
Yeah. Just
can't
playing
ignore
really
them.
well. Um, yeah. I feel like they're going to win the league at this point.
I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be close. I am surprised because they had that little wobble a couple of weeks back, and I thought this would be the downfall, but their performances have kicked on.
Yeah.
I think was it Reece Nelson's goal from
Yeah.
last
Against
week?
Bournemouth.
That was a big goal for them, and I think that sort of kicked them on a little bit more.
Mm.
But yeah, fair play to Arsenal, and I just want it to be a close title race. I want it to go down to the last.
Yeah. And I mean, like, but I think at this point though, if if Arsenal do fuck up, like City are going to win. Like United aren't there,
No,
Spurs aren't going to win it. So it's going to be. I'd prefer Arsenal to win it at this point than City.
Any updates from FPL? I did look at my team for this coming weekend and it's in the bin because
Is it? You've got nothing left.
well there's hardly any players playing. I've got about three
Yeah.
players playing, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have still got a wild card chip to play,
You're going to
uh,
have to use it.
but I could use it, but obviously all the players that are missing from this week and are going to come back the following week. So then
Yeah,
I'm
well,
like,
one of them's Haaland, like Rashford, sure. I've managed to get away. I've made one sub. I've put Enzo in
no,
for Solly March because Solly March went on a great run and then hasn't done anything since. He almost scored at the weekend and then it was given as an own goal. So I took him out for Enzo. So I've just got Haaland not playing. So I've got a full team except from that.
mate, I'm in the bin. Our league is so close as well. It's got even closer
It
this week,
is.
I think. I've still got Tony to play, so I'm hoping that
Yeah, same.
if you captained him,
Yeah.
yeah, me and you the same then. Yeah, I've still got
I've
Tony.
also got I've got Ben Mee as well.
Have you? Okay, first. Yeah, my team's done all right this week. To be fair, it's done all
We're now
right.
first and second in our
Yes, yes.
team.
I've got Matoma to play again. I've got Tony to play again, and Sanchez to play again, who didn't even play in the first aspect. So if you don't play again, then I'll just get 2 points from Allison, who's on the bench. Yeah, I don't know why.
That's,
I don't know why they're not playing Sanchez, Brian. Don't know what's going on.
no, not a clue. But yeah, I've got Allison in there. I was so happy when I took Allison out for the weekend that United got hammered. Because I just thought I didn't think they'd get hammered. Put Danny Ward in. I was like, this could go awfully. But he saved a penalty, so I was like, sound.
What the hell? I don't get.
Um, so I'm happy with how FBL is going at the moment.
There's 48.
It's,
I've just looked. There's 48 points in it between fourth and first. So
well, aren't you like 20 something points behind me?
yeah, you're on 1,618. I'm on 1,592. So I am 8 plus 18, 26
You're
points behind you.
26 points behind me, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
26.
is mad when there's 48 between all of us.
Yeah, it's pretty mad.
Trying to keep a healthy lead.
It's exciting.
Seeing as you were bottom like 3 weeks ago,
I've done all right in the
like
past.
this is mad.
I've done all right. I think I missed. There was one week which I effed up, and that was when
Yeah.
I didn't captain Rashford when Rashford had like a double game week, and I
Mm.
captained Haaland instead. But other than that, I think I've done all right. And then yeah, the last bit of football news. I think there's a new format for the World Cup and also the Club World Cup as well. Um,
Don't care about that one.
Format for the new World Cup in 2026, 104 games, 48 teams, 12 groups. Again, they're just trying to change it for the sake of changing it, really, and they? I
I mean,
don't.
get more teams in. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, to be fair, there's a balance there, isn't it? Like, I like the fact that there's more teams, but you want it to be competitive. You don't want to be seeing Brazil pump San Marino 10-0, and like,
No, true, but I think that it gives more opportunity to countries that like there'll be more African countries in it, which is always a good thing.
right? Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Yeah, that's true.
there'll just be more countries that don't normally get the opportunity. So I'm happy with it, and there'll be more upsets.
Yeah, that is true.
I think it'll be. I think it can only be a good thing. So we have like ridiculous amount of groups in our like the European groups. So there's less chance of kind of like the lower teams getting in there. Whereas like you should hopefully get like Panama in at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I don't mind there being more football on at the World Cup.
No, it's true. It's true. We'll move to a bit of NFL because it's been absolute madness over the past day or two. Free agency's opened up. There's just been moves left, right, and centre. I mean, the
The Vikings are
Vikings,
going to have 2 players left on their roster
the
at the end of this.
Vikings, an absolute fire sale. I mean, I've tried to get as much down here as possible, but okay. So they've cut Eric Kendricks. They've cut Patrick Peterson. They've cut Cam Dantzler. They've cut Adam Thielen. They're restructuring Kirk Cousins, so it's looking like it's going to be his last year next year. And they've made a couple signings. I think Marcus Davenport and Josh, who's a defensive end, and Josh Oliver, who's a tight end. But yeah, there's a complete fire sale on, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what we look like next year. God
I
knows.
know. It's tough. I mean, obviously you're keeping your core when you're basically keeping Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson. Um, you've lost Adam Thielen, which I think I still don't understand particularly. I
Yeah, I
feel like
mean,
he got less snaps last year. He didn't get that many. Um,
he's lost a step a little bit, but I'm still gutted he's gone. I'm
yeah.
he's gone.
Um, oh, it's either going to go so well or so wrong. Because you were obviously a 13-3 team, weren't you? Or was it 14? It was
Uh,
13-3.
13-3, yeah.
Um, and I mean, to be fair, you were the worst 13-3 team of all time.
The second worst defense in the league, I think. So
Yeah,
you can't really argue with them having a bit of a
no, them getting rid of people is absolutely fine. It's just hopefully they can get the right people in because they haven't signed anyone yet free agency, and there's quite a few.
yeah, yeah. We've signed one defensive player, um,
But
so and he's a defensive end, but we've lost about five or six, and that's like
yeah,
they're probably starters as well, five or six starters.
mm,
Yeah, obviously Patrick Peterson is a winner. He's a born winner. So he's gone to the Steelers. Eric Kendricks to the Chargers. Dantzler to Washington. So yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be a very
mm,
interesting season. I think the draft is going to be big for us as well. Um,
yes.
we shall see. Any news on the Pats? I think they're
Um,
giving away a
we've
wide receiver, in there.
yeah, Jacoby Myers is gone.
Yeah.
Um, which is okay. We've also given a tight end away um, somewhere. I think we've gained a tight end as well. So I think we've done a quick swap, but no massive moves because there's quite a few. I mean, there's a few big names on the free agency. I mean,
There's massive
Julio
names.
Jones is still on there.
Julio Jones, you've got OBJ, you've got
Yeah,
DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, they're looking, I think the Titans are looking to offload Derrick Henry, which would be massive if he goes anywhere.
I, I mean, who's going to be able to afford Derrick Henry?
I have no idea.
I
I've
think the
had,
Bears have the biggest cap like space, which is like 73 million. So I feel like they're the only ones that could afford him, which would be mad if they had Justin Fields and him in the backfield. So
I think,
um,
I think, isn't there been a trade as well for, didn't did the Bears give away their number one pick
yeah,
or something
so
like
the
that?
Bears gave away the number one pick to the Panthers
They got,
for some picks.
I think it was
I think that the ninth pick
was
or
it
something like
DJ
that.
Moore as well? Did the Bears
Yeah,
get like DJ Moore or something like that? Yeah.
yeah. Who has more receiving yards than the person who holds the record for career receiving yards at the Bears, and he's 25.
Yeah, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem. Which is quite funny
So
when you put it like that, though. That is quite funny.
which is mad. So he has like 5,000. Like that's more than any Bear players ever got in their career at the Bears. Like that's just stupid.
Why
And
is
he's only
that?
25.
How is that a stat? I don't know.
I
The
don't know.
Bears just not had any wide receivers in their like history.
Not for long periods. But yeah, I mean Jimmy G's. To be fair, I think the Raiders are going to be sick next year.
Jimmy
Jimmy
G.
G's gone there. Who's I think is probably the best they could do after letting Derek Carr go.
Yeah, that's true.
They could have been in there for Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers is ever going to go there. Um, but yeah, Jimmy G is a great steal for them. I think the Raiders look quite good. I'm surprised they didn't do as well as they did last year. They
Oh
should
yeah,
have done better last year.
me too.
But oh well. But yeah, and the whole Aaron Rodgers saga. He's still don't know if he's going to be a Jet or not.
Oh mate,
Uh,
this is just hilarious. I find it so funny. He's provided a wish list, isn't
yeah,
he?
and basically he wants like Packers players to come with him.
Yeah, plus OBJ.
Yeah, it's like, well, the Packers for one aren't going to agree to that. They probably they're not going to want to like sell Al Nazard. He's like their only wide receiver at the moment. Um, yeah, so I feel like that wish list is ridiculous. Um, for him to say this is who. To be fair, I think the others actually might be earning his free agency, so it might not be too bad.
No.
Um, but yeah, if he goes to the Jets, then he's like, I want you to get these guys
But
a bit.
that's a hell of a request. I know that Brady's done it as well, but Brady's actually proven that he can be successful when he's
Yeah,
moving people over. But if you request all these players to come over, you have to win. If you don't win,
Yeah,
just bugger off the next season. You're leaving the Jets like in the mud.
literally. You have to do well. Obviously, Tom Brady did when he went to the Bucks. He brought basically Leonard Fournette in.
Yeah, brought Gronk over
Um,
as well, didn't
Gronk came back. He got a lot of players. So yeah, he just needs to prove it. And it's just this whole saga. It just kind of gets into a point where you feel like Aaron Rodgers is a bit up himself.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, just make
Say a bit, very up himself.
just make a decision. Like you've been on a 4 day isolation retreat. You told everyone that you're going to make your decision. Your decision is going to
Yeah,
come then. It's been about a month since then. Just
yeah,
signed for a team because otherwise, teams get things people into play, don't they? And people in positions, and they need this chess piece to move so they can
yeah.
get going with their off
And the
season.
longer it goes on, like it's worse for the Jets at the moment because they're obviously waiting for something because they could potentially have Aaron Rodgers, which would be sick. Um, and I mean the Packers. I don't know. Never know what the Packers are thinking because it's always something ridiculous. Um, yeah, I don't know. They're gonna get Jordan Love in, so it's fine.
Couple other bits of trade news going on. Much to Sam's disgust, Jalen Ramsey signed for the Dolphins. You don't rate him, do you? You don't rate him.
Yeah, I don't.
Why? Why don't you rate him?
He's shit. I think he's all mouth. He can obviously play football, but I don't think he can play it to a that much of a higher level than any other cornerback in that league.
No, that's interesting.
JC Jackson's a better cornerback than him. It's truth.
Do you think he's hit his prime because he was on lock for a good couple of seasons. He was the best cornerback for a while, and then he sort of had a little bit of dip in form. But he's still decent. He's still
I
decent.
think ever since he started getting thrown around by Derrick Henry, like every single time he played him,
Yeah,
um, I think he's had a dip. I think cornerback is probably one of the hardest positions in
he's the hard
football.
decision. Yeah, for sure.
Um, just because the way you have to do like three things at once. Obviously, other positions do multiple things at once, but it looks insanely difficult to play. You basically have to play it backwards,
Hmm.
not watching the ball, and it looks impossible. So fair enough, he has the hardest job, but I mean, I just think he thinks he's the best in the world, and he's just not anymore.
It's quite satisfying to see someone get humbled like that, though. I must admit. Um,
I enjoy it greatly.
when was it Tom Brady? When Tom Brady just threw a couple of TDs? Was it Michael Thomas? Not Michael Thomas. Who was it? Who's the
Mike
Bucks?
Evans,
Yeah, Mike Evans. Yeah, I think he scored over him.
yeah.
But yeah,
Before he retired, his last touchdown was on Jalen Ramsey.
yeah, quite funny. And then obviously Derek Carr has finally got team Saints. He's gone to the Saints. I do rate Derek Carr to be fair. I think he got a
I
bit.
think he's great. I
Yeah,
think he's done so well for the Raiders. I think he's a class quarterback. Him at the Pro Bowl was sick. Just great to watch. So yeah, I think he's a great quarterback.
and watch this space because I'm sure there'll be many more deals to come. It's fully silly season. Let's move to F1 actually whilst I bring that up. Because it was the season opener a couple of weeks back now in Bahrain, and Red Bull just took the piss really. It's
Yeah,
not
I
really
mean,
much competition.
hmm, they did what everyone was expecting. Um, First and second, didn't really do anything, put a foot wrong. The fact that Verstappen was still like had 20 odd seconds ahead of Perez is interesting. But yeah, didn't put a foot wrong. Played the weekend very well. Um, should be very happy, especially with how the season opened last season
Exactly. Yeah, two
happened.
DNS on it.
Yeah, two DNFs. So yeah, I think they'll be very happy moving. Apparently, still things went wrong. Something didn't add up telemetry wise with how they thought it would by a long way. Apparently, so they've still got stuff to fix. But
That's pretty
as long
scary.
as the fact that there's something went wrong when they're like 40 odd seconds ahead of the rest of them is ridiculous. It's one of those things you never know if what they say is true or not, but still, Um, I think with everyone else kind of battling themselves as well as the other teams, everyone else is shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Obviously, Aston Martin look pretty decent.
I mean, that was the
Uh,
story of the weekend, really.
yeah,
Fair play to Red Bull. You smashed it, but I think people expected that, but no one really expected, or no one anticipated how Aston Martin, well, they would do at the start of the season anyway. So,
no, exactly. Fernando Alonso, we all knew he still got it. His battle with Hamilton was great. The
mm,
fact that he managed to get one over on his old teammate was
yeah,
pretty good to see. Lance Stroll did miraculously well with one hand.
fair play, man, fair play. I don't know how. He could
I don't
even
think he should have done.
no,
He
you
couldn't
shouldn't
get out of
have.
that car. He could not get in out of that car, so it was not safe. Um, so he shouldn't have raced, but he did miraculously well to end up fifth. Um, driver's life, to be fair, and shows kind of the bottle in the kid. Um, it was quite a good. It was a decent race. It wasn't a cracker, but
No,
it was decent. And obviously Leclerc, I just I feel so sorry for him. It's
Ferrari.
so sad to be in
Yeah,
Ferrari right now.
it's like every race something happens to them, or they
Yeah,
have a bad strategy, or one of their cars DNFs. Like it's just
yeah,
guaranteed.
exactly. So it's just so sad. I feel so sorry for Leclerc because he quite possibly could have had a championship by now.
He's so
If they
good.
could do things right. Yeah, he's
He's so
he's
good.
ridiculous. The fact that it was a wiring problem that they already had to replace once. Now they have to replace it again, so we could possibly have a 10 place grid
Grid
penalty.
penalty already.
But apparently they might be using some of the bits from the old one, so they might not have to take it. So yeah, so that they've kind of fucked it already. So it's it's a sorry state of affairs. It's made me change my fancy
Has it already?
F1. So,
Ferrari
uh,
out.
pretty much, I had Ferrari as a team, and also I had Leclerc as well. Um, but it's actually cheaper. I've now got Verstappen, Perez, um, Alonso, and Stroll,
Wow.
and
Okay.
and, and Ocon,
All in on that. Ocon as
and
well.
I, yeah, Ocon as well.
Let's talk about Ocon because that was, that's pretty hilarious from him.
He might as well DNF'd.
Might as well. Three equals a record for having three penalties in a race, and it was just one
Exactly.
after the other after the other. And it was quite funny. To be fair, I like
Mm.
Ocon. I think he's severely underrated as a
Yeah,
driver, but you've had an absolute stinker, mate.
it wasn't good. No, I I think he can just kiss that race goodbye.
Yeah.
Three penalties in one race, you're not going to be anywhere. I mean, he did well to get through some of the field, but he's not going to get anywhere.
Another stinker in Bahrain was McLaren as well. I mean,
Yeah,
I think Danny Rick's laughing right now after he's taken his 18 mil payout and sitting there
literally.
watching Red Bull race. But yeah, Oscar Piastri DNF'd, and then there was a problem with Lando's car pitting all the time. It was nuts. I think Jeddah's this weekend. I think it's going to be one of the quickest tracks on.
Yeah, obviously Verstappen is still hands-on favourite. He won last year. Did he win last year? I think he did.
I think he did. Yeah, I think he did.
Um, so yeah, I don't see him not winning again. Definitely hands-on favourite. So it'd be good to see what Aston Martin can do. See if they can follow up with a good race. Otherwise, my F1 fancy team's in the mud.
He's in the mud.
Um, but no, it'll be interesting. I quite like Jeddah as a as a track.
I like it. I think that and Baku are probably up there for me. really like Baku. Obviously Silverstone's up there as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, the street track's always quite entertaining. Especially if they're proper rapid. I think they've made some changes to the track this year because I think drivers were complaining because the track is so close to the barriers. As the track curves a little bit, the drivers were complaining about visibility going around a corner, especially on
Yeah.
push laps, qualifying, and practice, because you can't really tell if there's a car that's on a slow lap or a push lap, and if you're going around a corner, it could cause a bit of carnage. So I think they've widened some of the runoff area of the
Mm,
track, so it's not so enclosed. But I think it's still pretty chaotic. So
Yeah,
there could be a crash or two this weekend. But we'll have to wait and see for that one. But yeah, I'm predicting a Red Bull win. I think.
yeah. I think you have to. I think it's the best bet and
I
the
think
shortest odds. But
yeah, I think Toto and Mercedes aren't happy because I think they were hoping to be a lot closer, and they're
mm,
just not.
it's not. And like Hamilton has come out and said, kind of like they're not listening to him.
Yeah, he said that. It's quite harsh comments, and it's quite bold statement.
It is bold, and I think if anyone's deserved to be listened to, it's probably him.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Um, I think he knows his way around a car. Obviously, engineers are insanely clever and will probably know more than him in terms of the structure of what's going on. But in terms of how he perceives it, he feels that car, like the only person who's going to know that is him.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you've got to cater for the driver. That's the only way they're going to win.
It's,
Because if the driver doesn't like the setup, we've seen loads of time on like onboard cameras, where a driver's like they're saying something's not quite right with the setup, and they're shit.
yeah.
They can't drive the car, and you're like, well, why?
I mean,
So
Mercedes baffles me a little bit, to be fair, because they're the only car on the grid out of nine other teams that have gone for this no side pod kind of concept. And at what point do you just say I'll cut my losses and just sort of give up?
yeah.
Like
At what point do you say I got it wrong? Because it was the
exactly.
same last year. Um, yeah, you think they'd be able to change them out. Apparently, I don't know. It's a rumor that obviously Mercedes and Aston Martin are quite closely linked.
Mhm.
Um, in terms, Mercedes have given their engines a Aston Martin use Mercedes engines. I think they're also owned by Mercedes in some way. Um, Apparently, if Aston Martin start doing better than Mercedes, then the the gods who own Mercedes and stuff will start focusing on Aston Martin this year.
Wow, that's mad.
I think I heard that as a rumor. I don't know. You never know if that's true or not, but um, it's a sorry state of affairs for Mercedes, to be fair.
I also heard that there was I don't know if Hamilton actually quoted saying this or if this was just like a bit of a rumor floating about, but I think obviously because Hamilton's getting on in age now, and he said I think that he doesn't want to retire until he gets that eighth. That I think he said that if Ferrari are doing better than Mercedes, considerably better than Mercedes, he'd be open to a move to Ferrari
Hmm.
to try and get that eighth, which I'm here for. I'm
Yeah,
here
so am I. To be fair, I think seeing him in a Ferrari would be pretty sick.
I'm pretty sick. That'd be
Um, it'll be quite hard because I can imagine Leclerc's going to stay. It'll probably be kicking science out
yeah.
at this point. Um, and then you've got who's your number one driver? So you'd have to say Hamilton will probably only go if he is the number one driver to get that eighth. But also Leclerc has been in the car for God for
Exactly.
how many
Yeah.
years now. So obviously I don't think Hamilton would need that much time to get used to a car. But um, yeah, interesting. I'd love to see him at Ferrari. To be fair,
It'll be an interesting move, and if it actually happens, I don't know. That's probably a long way off now, but that is, I think that's if Mercedes really do fall off the bandwagon and they can't get the car back
yeah.
to
Well, I
back.
don't think he has a contract for next year yet, does he?
I'm not sure. I'm not. It must. Is it a short term deal because of his age or because of what
I
he
think the
wants?
last one was like a year or two, so I don't know if he's got much left on his contract.
No, it's not good for Mercedes as well. I think George Russell came out and said that he predicts Red Bull to win every single race. I think when your driver's saying that, it's not the best, is it?
No, but I think George Russell was chat shit. He's
You hate
always saying something. He's
you
always
hate
saying something random. Um, he's always saying something stupid, like, "Oh yeah, Red Bull going to win every race." Then he wins the next one. You're like, "Well, you obviously didn't believe that." It's
sandbag
just,
sandbagging, mate.
I feel like he's one of those will. continue to say, "Oh yeah, we're doing really shit. There's no chance," and then they'll finish like second in the championship, and he'll be doing sick. So yeah, I get annoyed with George Russell at the moment.
Oh dear. We'll move on to a bit of boxing, because there's been someone that's annoying me, really. Tyson Fury, you're letting your
Yeah,
side down a little bit. Um, I rate you as a boxer, but just get this Usyk deal done and dusted. Don't take the piss, because I feel like you're taking the piss a little bit in a minute. I think they're trying to agree a deal. I think at the minute a 70-30 split has been agreed, which is
it's mad.
heavy, heavy. Um,
I thought it was agreed, and then Tyson came back and said he didn't want a rematch clause, and then
yeah,
Usyk came out and said, "Well, your guys put it in, so that's up to you."
exactly that, Sam. Exactly that. Yeah, the 70-30 split was agreed, and then Fury came back and said about the no rematch clause thing, which I think is taking the piss. You want Usyk to have 30% and then have no rematch.
Yeah,
Um, Yeah, I think he's trying to push this one a little bit too far. Just get the deal done. Just get the fight happening. I think also that people are saying that Fury's obviously a bit all mouth, and the date was agreed for the 29th of April, which is only about 6 weeks away, 6, 7 weeks
yeah,
away. And so they're going to try and now wiggle the way out of it and try and make it for like a summer date or whatever, or and towards the end of the year, which would be disappointing if that is the case.
yeah. I hope it is the end of April because it seemed like he was starting training, but like, it's not long, and I'm guessing Usyk has probably been training
For a while,
throughout.
for a while.
Um, I mean, it will be a Tyson Fury thing to do for train for like 3 weeks and still win.
Still win, yeah.
So, but that's the fight everyone wants. Everyone wants a unification
Exactly.
fight. Like, that's the whole point of boxing, surely.
No one wants to see belts split over the heavyweight
Yeah.
and whatnot. Like everyone wants to see. Like we haven't seen it for so long. Just make it happen.
No, that's why I think Usyk was like, "Yeah, I'll do it because
Just do
I
it.
don't
Yeah.
really care. I just want to fight. Like, this
Yeah.
boxing is my job. I want to be the best. That's the only
Yeah.
way to do it." So, yeah, I hope it goes ahead. I hope it like at this point, I'm hoping Usyk wins because I think it will just in increase Tyson Fury's ego even more if
Yeah.
he ends up winning it. So,
It'll be
be a
interesting.
shame.
I think the TalkSport presenter, I think his name's Simon Jordan.
Yeah,
I think he's had some harsh words to say about Fury recently. And I think Fury did a Instagram story basically like saying slagging off all of his haters, which one of was Simon Jordan. But he he in his Instagram story he tagged all the people that was like hating on him, and he tagged Simon Cowell instead of Simon Jordan. And it just makes me laugh so much. Just imagine Simon Cowell
Simon Cowell,
like, what? Tyson Fury, why are you swearing at me for? Why are you kicking off at me for? Just the confusion on his face would be absolutely
love that, love
hilarious.
that.
But yeah, also in boxing news, the other Fury brother actually beat Jake Paul, Sam.
He did finally.
He's actually
Didn't
beat
knock him out, unfortunately, but
him. No.
yeah, he won. I'm just happy that's happened.
Yeah, I think that's humbled Jake a little bit, and the hype train has
Died.
slowly stopped. I think Jake Paul will probably fight again or try and get a rematch. So we'll see if that starts back up again. But yeah, it was nice to see him humbled a little bit, which was good. Um, John Jones was back
Yeah,
last weekend, and he won convincingly again.
yeah,
Like, I don't know how
pretty
he could have
easily.
that much layoff and just come back and just like
Honestly,
he's
just
gifted.
absolutely demolished him. Yeah,
He's gifted. And then also there's a UFC event this weekend. Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman, which would be a good rematch because the
that was a
first
shock.
time round that was an absolute shock. Yeah, and it was just a last second KO, which sort of ended things. So yeah, that's pretty much boxing UFC. Um,
But
was there a bit of beef in tennis over the past couple of days with
there was a bit of beef in terms of
something?
Wawrinka and Holger Rune. Um, so last year, the last time they played, Holger Rune won. Um, and I can't remember. Wawrinka said something like "stop being a baby" or whatever to Holger Rune. Holger Rune went on to win that tournament. Um, and then obviously a year's gone by. I'm pretty sure Wawrinka's forgotten completely about it because Wawrinka came out with a three-set win over Rune, which was a bit of a shock anyway at the first place. Goes up to the middle of the net, says good game. Bobby Rune kind of looks at him and goes, "You got anything to say now?" And Wawrinka literally looks like he's like, "I have honestly no idea what you're talking about." He goes, "What do you want me to say?" And it's just the most random like comment. Obviously, last year, I mean, he did it when he lost. Like he'd be all in the moment. And I'm guessing that's obviously what's happened here. But
Yeah.
that's the only beef. It's not massive. It's
No.
just kind of a bit of pettiness, I think, at the end of the day. Um,
It's probably
but
made it
it's good to
funny
see
with
Rinker win.
yeah, it's made it funnier with Vavrinka just not having a clue what Rooney's on about.
Honestly, he just says, have you got anything to say?" He's like, "Sorry, what? Uh, what do you mean?" So I think he's fully forgotten about it. So it's quite funny to watch.
It's funny.
Um, but it's a good tournament so far. Murray did well. He lost to Jack Draper
Ah,
this morning or last night. Um, but he had three wins. Um, Again, another last set win. And a couple of better ones. But Murray's looking good.
he's looking good. Anything in on the golf world going on at the minute, or is anything
Scott
important?
Scheffler won the Players Championship pretty convincingly, annoyingly. He won by like five or six shots, and it was 5 or 6 shots ahead before the end. Like so, on the Sunday, he was at 16 under, and the rest of the field at second place was in at 12 under, and that second place person had finished his round already. So he
Jeez.
basically had the whole round to himself. Um, Yeah, there was a new record made for the lowest round in Players Championship history with
Oh,
a 10 under from I think it was Ho. I think it was him. I might be wrong.
10 unders.
Um,
Mad.
for one round is ridiculous. Considering he finished on like 9 under
Mm,
for the whole tournament,
that is crazy.
so a bit crazy. But no, it was not too much going in the golf. We've got the Masters coming up, so I think that's the next big one on the bill. I think Scottish Sheffield's going to be favourite. He's back to number one in the world.
Is
So
it? I was gonna
uh,
ask
John
that.
Rahm John Rahm pulled out through illness, so he was number one, I think. So it'll be interesting to see when he comes back. But apart from that, bit of cricket.
Cricket.
You've seen the cricket.
What's going on in the
England
cricket world?
England deciding to be shit at white ball cricket,
I thought
getting
they.
whitewashed 3-0 by Bangladesh.
Oh, what in the T20 series was it?
Yep,
Oh, mate, I didn't
lost
keep.
all three.
I saw that the one day series. I saw that they won 2-1 out of the 3 game series, but I didn't. I knew that the T20 series was coming up, but I didn't know what the outcome of that was.
Yeah, so they basically beat us in every single one. Um, Trying to think of what this. So the first one I think was relatively close, but they won. Second one we were bowled out for 116, something like
Brutal.
that. Didn't do great. They chased that relatively easily. Um, and then today, earlier, we bowled them out for 150 something, which is an okay score. We were 101 for one, and we lost.
How can you lose in that position?
Just finished on 130 or 40 something for six in the
God,
end. It
damn.
was yeah, got Jason Roy and Butler out, and we just collapsed. So yeah, preparations for the ODI are interesting. The ODI seems okay actually. That cricket seems fine. It's just a T20 doesn't seem great, but oh well. At least we're good form for the ODI, so that's all we need.
I saw Jofra Archer's back. He was
Yeah,
bowling. He looked like he was pretty good.
with a 92-mile-an-hour ball
Yeah,
the other day.
absolutely like rapid. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. I guess it's one of those that it's in Bangladesh, right? As well, isn't it? So the
Mm,
conditions probably favor the home side. But
yeah,
yeah, you'd expect England to be a little bit more competitive considering they just won the World Cup.
yeah, literally. I don't think many of those players are playing, but yeah, it was a bit of a sorry show, to be fair.
And that wraps it up with no more sports news now. That
Not that I can think of. I think England. There's the World Baseball
base
tournament on the moment. Let me just find this World Baseball Classic. There you
is it a
go.
World Cup for baseball?
But
Because
it seems like it. So GB are making their tournament debut at the fifth edition of the WBC, and lost to defending champions USA and Canada over the weekend. Probably makes sense.
so yeah, classic.
And then we came from behind to beat Colombia for our first ever win.
Go on, the boys. Is it boys or
Yeah,
is it girls? Is it boys or
boys.
boys? Go on.
So finished fourth out of the five teams in Pool C. So we haven't finished fourth yet. We could finish. So finishing fourth means we have automatic qualification for the next World Cup. Apparently, we were up against USA and Canada, but just bottled it. So the World Baseball Classic schedule. Do they have a table? Korea beat China 22-2.
Wow. I think baseball's pretty popular in Japan in that part of the world.
Massive, massive,
Yeah.
massive. USA beat Canada. Why are there only 7 innings in that one? That seems odd.
Is that rain stop play? Duckworth Lewis method.
I honestly don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know what the rules are on this one because some of them. This one stopped after 5. So the Korea game where they won 22-2, they were 22-2 up in the fifth innings,
Oh my god.
which is ridiculous.
That game was
Um,
stopped because they were beating him so badly.
yeah, I can imagine. There's just no point. We didn't lose. To be fair, we didn't lose that badly to the USA.
No, was it
No,
respectful?
it was respectable, I think.
Baseball's a weird one because there's hardly any coverage unless you have, you know,
There's like no, yeah, it's nothing
no
unless you have
coverage.
like ESPN or
ESPN.
BT Sports sometimes show it.
What do they?
Um,
Remember Eurosport
got the
thing?
skiing in there.
Skiing. Ski season's been dead this year, isn't it, Sam?
Loads of them being cancelled.
Yeah, I've heard that they've not had enough snowfall, so it's been a bit naff this year.
Yeah. Michaela Schifrin, I think, it's become the most winningest lady in skiing history. She's now won more than Lindsay Vonn has did.
Really? Jesus.
Yeah, she's doing bits.
All right. I guess that
Yeah.
wraps up the pod. Quick score check in Man City game.
Oh,
Come on, Leipzig. Come on, Timo.
uh,
Your face. Is this big?
oh my God. It is 6-0 to City in the 65th minute. Erling Haaland has scored 5 of them. Five.
5 goals, six goals in 60 odd minutes.
Yeah. They've subbed Haaland off. I'd be fuming. I want to get my double hat trick.
I'm actually a little bit speechless. I did not expect 6-0 in a Champions League game in 60
No.
when you're playing 4 centre halves and the robot has
It
scored
was
5.
on it. So, to be fair, they're playing 3 at the back, technically. So they've got Akanji, Diaz, and Ake. And they've got John Stones playing in
Right wing
like
back.
in CDM.
Oh, CDM.
With the formation that's come up on here, it's a 3-2-4-1.
Wow. Okay, that's really changed it because when I looked pre-game, the formation was 4 at the back. Ake was left back with Akanji and Thingy in the middle, and then you had John Stones
Right
right
back.
back.
I don't know what's right, but that just looks ridiculous. Wow.
Wow. Okay. Rest in peace, Leipzig.
Never mind.
Never
All goes
mind.
next year.
I'd take that back. Oh,
And it's currently 0-0 between Porto and Inter.
that's a bit dead then.
It's a bit dead. I saw that. I was like, it looks a bit dead. And I was looked down because it looked like a 0 from like peripheral vision. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. No, they're being fucked over here.
Any shockers of the week? I think a shocker could be Leipzig.
Leipzig. Quite possibly. Yeah, I'll go with Leipzig just because that's awful.
I'm
No,
gonna
I'm going to go with Liverpool.
Liverpool. Okay, yeah. Okay. To be fair, Liverpool
Yeah, shit.
losing to Bournemouth.
And they're going to do even shitter tomorrow, so
That's
against
very true.
Madrid.
Oh yeah, that was brutal that game as well. The first leg.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna go Tyson Fury for tagging Simon Cowell when he's going to tag Simon Jordan because
yeah,
I think that's
I like that.
hero. Anyone that's done well.
I'm gonna go for Michaela Schifrin for. I know she did it a while ago, but I forgot to say.
That's fair.
Uh,
That's fair. And I'm actually gonna go Lance Stroll because
yeah.
I actually was I know I've slagged the bloke off before, but yeah, fair enough. To drive with half broken wrist is pretty impressive.
Not too bad.
But yeah, that wraps up the pod. Enjoy the weekend of sport. We'll catch you again whenever we're back. But yeah, in a bit. Peace.
Awesome. See you.